There's a silent signal that many older adults miss until it's too late. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't scream for attention, yet it whispers through your body every time you use the restroom. I'm talking about protein slipping into your urine, a condition we call proteinuria. For many, it's the earliest warning sign that the kidneys, the body's natural filters, are under strain. And here's the truth. You don't need to feel sick for this to be happening. I've seen strong, independent people in their 60s and 70s blindsided by a routine urine test showing protein where it shouldn't be. Obesity, diabetes, and high blood pressure often fan the flames, and studies show that up to 21% of obese patients face this issue, many alongside diabetes or hypertension. I'm Dr. Brian, and welcome to Channel Vital Science for Seniors, where today we'll uncover drinks that may help heal and protect your kidneys. When I think of beetroot juice, I'm reminded of one of my patients, Harold, a retired carpenter who loved to stay active, but struggled with high blood pressure that threatened his kidneys. He was skeptical when I suggested trying beetroot juice, thinking it was nothing more than health food nonsense. Yet within a few weeks, something remarkable happened. His blood pressure readings began to settle, and his energy while walking around his workshop returned. Science helps explain why. Beets are full of nitrates, which the body transforms into nitric oxide, a compound that relaxes blood vessels and improves circulation. Imagine your kidneys as delicate sieves. When blood flows smoothly, there's less pressure on those filters, reducing wear and tear. A study in 2020 found that patients with chronic kidney disease who drank beetroot juice not only lowered their blood pressure, but also improved kidney blood flow, reducing inflammation. But like all good things, moderation matters. Too much beetroot juice may raise oxalate levels, which in some people leads to kidney stones. For most, one modest cup a day is enough to support circulation and help protect kidney function. Harold still enjoys his daily glass, calling it his red shield, and his kidneys are quietly grateful for it. Cranberry juice has long carried the reputation of being the UTI drink. And while that's true, its benefits stretch further, especially when it comes to protecting aging kidneys. I remember Mary, a 72-year-old grandmother who came to me frustrated by recurring urinary tract infections. Each infection meant antibiotics, fatigue, and days of discomfort. We added a daily glass of unsweetened cranberry juice to her routine. Months later, not only had her infection subsided, but her lab work showed steadier kidney function. What makes cranberries special is their cocktail of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds. They act like little shields, reducing irritation in the urinary tract and helping prevent bacteria from clinging where they shouldn't. A 2019 study highlighted how cranberry supplementation can reduce UTIs and even slow kidney disease progression. But there is a caveat. Cranberries are also high in oxalates, the same compounds that can lead to kidney stones in those who are sensitive. That's why balance is key. Around 8 to 10 ounces a day is generally safe, providing enough protection without overwhelming the kidneys. Mary still calls it her morning armor. For her, that tart glass means more than just flavor. It represents freedom from constant infections and another way to safeguard her kidney health. I'll never forget a conversation with David, a retired teacher who came to me worried about his high creatinine levels. He was meticulous about his health, but feared he might soon face dialysis. We talked about small daily habits that could lighten the load on his kidneys, and one of them was something as simple as a warm cup of green tea. Green tea is more than a soothing ritual. It's packed with antioxidants, especially one called EGCG, which fights the oxidative stress that slowly damages kidney cells. Think of oxidative stress like rust on a metal pipe. It weakens the structure over time. The antioxidants in green tea act like a protective oil, slowing that rust. In fact, a clinical study showed that people who drank green tea regularly had less protein leaking into their urine, one of the earliest markers of kidney disease. Of course, too much of a good thing can backfire. Green tea contains caffeine, and in excess, caffeine can strain the kidneys and interfere with sleep, another vital pillar of healing. For most people, 2 to 3 cups a day strike the right balance. When David swapped his afternoon coffee for green tea, his lab results stabilized, and more importantly, he felt hopeful again. One of my most memorable patients, Ruth, was a retired librarian in her late 60s who struggled with both diabetes and early kidney disease. She often described her mornings as a battle with stiffness and fatigue, like her body was weighed down by sandbags. We introduced ginger tea into her daily routine, not as a miracle cure, but as a gentle ally. Within weeks, she noticed her mornings felt lighter, her digestion calmer, and her blood sugar readings a bit steadier. Ginger is a root with remarkable natural powers. Its compounds fight inflammation and oxidative stress, two key villains in the story of kidney damage. In one study with diabetic rats, ginger dramatically reduced protein in the urine, and later reviews of human studies confirmed its role in lowering blood sugar, cholesterol, and even markers of inflammation tied to kidney disease. The beauty of ginger is that it works quietly, calming the internal storms that slowly wear down the kidneys. Still, moderation is essential. Too much ginger can thin the blood or interact with medications, so 2 to 3 cups a day is generally safe. Ruth still calls it her sunrise cup, the ritual that gives her back energy, comfort, and a sense that she's caring for her kidneys every morning. Garlic may be humble in appearance, but it carries a reputation as one of nature's most potent healers. I think back to Samuel, a 70-year-old former bus driver with high blood pressure and creeping kidney decline. He had been prescribed medications, but was curious about natural ways to support his health. We spoke about garlic tea. Samuel laughed at first. He said, "Doctor, I don't want my breath chasing people away." But he gave it a try. Within a few months, his blood pressure was steadier, and his kidney numbers looked more stable. The secret lies in a compound called allicin, released when garlic is crushed. Allicin helps relax blood vessels and reduces the inflammation that can scar kidney tissue. A 2021 review even showed that regular garlic consumption was linked to a lower risk of chronic kidney disease, with some effects comparable to common blood pressure medications. Garlic also helps regulate blood sugar, which is critical in preventing diabetic kidney damage. Yet, as always, balance matters. Garlic can thin the blood and interact with certain medicines, so 1 to 2 cups of garlic tea per day is enough for most. Samuel still chuckles about the smell, but he proudly calls it his medicine in a mug. When Margaret, a 68-year-old retired nurse, came to see me, she carried a small jar of bright golden turmeric with her. She said, "Doctor, I've been sprinkling this on everything. Tell me if I'm crazy." I smiled because Margaret was onto something powerful. Turmeric contains curcumin, a compound that has become one of the most studied natural anti-inflammatories. Inflammation is like a slow-burning fire in the kidneys, gradually destroying the delicate filters that keep protein in the blood where it belongs. Curcumin works like water on that fire, cooling the damage before it spreads. In a 2022 clinical trial, turmeric supplementation reduced protein in the urine of patients with chronic kidney disease, offering real evidence for what traditional medicine has claimed for centuries. Patients also saw improvements in blood pressure and less blood in the urine, both important signs of kidney protection. But turmeric is not without caution. In high doses, or when taken as concentrated supplements without guidance, it may upset the stomach or interfere with medications. A safe way is to enjoy it as tea, 1 to 2 cups daily, perhaps with a touch of black pepper to enhance absorption. Margaret still brews her golden cup every evening, calling it her liquid sunshine. Blueberries may look small, but they carry tremendous power for aging kidneys. I think of Jorge, a 74-year-old gardener who loved working outdoors, but was told his blood pressure and blood sugar were threatening his kidneys. He felt betrayed by his own body. We spoke about adding blueberry juice to his daily meals, not as a quick fix, but as part of a kidney protective diet. Within months, his energy grew and his blood pressure began to ease. Blueberries are rich in anthocyanins, the pigments that give them their deep blue color. These compounds fight oxidative stress, the same invisible rust that damages kidney cells and accelerates protein loss into the urine. Research suggests that antioxidants from blueberries can reduce proteinuria and improve blood vessel health, easing the pressure that harms kidney filters. They also help balance blood sugar, which is vital for anyone with diabetes or prediabetes. Drinking blueberry juice is like pouring a gentle shield over your kidneys, giving them breathing space to heal. Of course, portion size matters. Too much juice adds unnecessary sugar, but 4 to 6 ounces a day is generally safe and effective. Jorge still calls his daily glass his garden helper because it gives him strength to keep tending the soil he loves. There's something almost regal about a pomegranate with its crown-like shape and jewel-like seeds. I remember Elena, a 66-year-old piano teacher, who told me she felt her body was tired inside. Her blood pressure was high, and her kidneys were beginning to show strain. We added pomegranate juice to her mornings, and she described it as drinking liquid rubies. Science supports that feeling. Pomegranates are packed with polyphenols, powerful antioxidants that calm inflammation and protect blood vessels. For the kidneys, this means less pressure and better blood flow, which slows the damage that proteinuria can cause. Studies show that pomegranate juice not only lowers blood pressure, but also reduces oxidative stress, two of the biggest enemies of kidney health. But there's an important caution. Pomegranates are high in potassium. For someone with advanced kidney disease, where potassium levels are already hard to balance, too much can be dangerous, even life-threatening. That's why moderation is critical, around 1 cup a day, ideally after checking with your doctor. Elena told me the ritual of pouring her glass each morning made her feel like she was nourishing herself with something precious. For her, it wasn't just juice. It was a daily reminder that even fragile kidneys deserve to be treated like royalty. Sometimes the most unassuming remedies hide in plain sight. I recall Walter, a 71-year-old former accountant who had been fighting both diabetes and creeping kidney problems. He was skeptical when I suggested apple cider vinegar. "Doctor," he said with a grin, "isn't that just for salad dressing?" Yet when he began taking 1 to 2 tablespoons, diluted in a large glass of water daily, he noticed his blood sugar readings becoming steadier, and over time his blood pressure inched downward too. The secret lies in its high acetic acid content, which improves insulin sensitivity and supports healthier blood sugar control. Two crucial pieces of the kidney health puzzle. By lowering sugar spikes, apple cider vinegar helps reduce the strain that diabetes places on fragile kidney filters. It also carries anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, further shielding those tiny structures from harm. A 2020 study even suggested it could protect against renal impairment, pointing to its therapeutic potential. Of course, apple cider vinegar should never be taken straight. It's too harsh for tooth enamel and the stomach lining. Diluted in water, however, it becomes a gentle tonic. Walter now calls it his morning wake-up, not because it jolts him like coffee, but because it reminds him each day that small steps can protect his kidneys. Carrots may seem ordinary, but the juice pressed from them can be a quiet ally for the kidneys. I think of Lillian, a 69-year-old retired seamstress who came to me worried about her diet for kidney disease. She wanted something simple, something nourishing, that didn't feel like medicine. We spoke about carrot juice. Within weeks, she began describing how her mornings felt brighter and her digestion calmer. Carrots are rich in beta-carotene, a form of vitamin A that acts like a shield against oxidative stress, the same invisible rust that slowly wears away at kidney cells. They also offer anti-inflammatory benefits, easing the quiet swelling that worsens kidney damage over time. For people struggling with diabetes, carrot juice can be particularly helpful because its natural sugars are released more gently than processed ones, giving steadier blood sugar control. But like many kidney-friendly foods, there's a balance to strike. Carrots are also high in potassium, which can be risky if kidney function is already reduced. For most, a half cup to 1 cup a few times per week is safe and beneficial. Lillian still calls her carrot juice her golden thread, weaving it into her routine as a way to stitch together health, hope, and a brighter future for her kidneys. Beyond these healing drinks, there are simple daily habits that make a profound difference. Staying hydrated without overloading the body keeps the kidneys flushed but not strained. Choosing whole foods instead of processed ones lowers hidden salt and phosphorus that burden kidney function. Gentle exercise, like walking 30 minutes most days, helps control both blood pressure and blood sugar, two key protectors. Maintaining a healthy weight, avoiding smoking, and limiting alcohol all give your kidneys more breathing room. Even adjusting protein intake to match your stage of kidney health can slow damage. Every small step becomes an act of protection, preserving independence and vitality. So, we've journeyed through 10 remarkable drinks, Simple, natural allies that can protect your kidneys, ease proteinuria, and bring more energy to your life. But remember, it's not about drinking everything at once or seeking miracles overnight. Healing comes from steady, thoughtful choices, moderation, balance, and listening to your body. Always speak with your healthcare provider before making changes, especially if you live with chronic conditions. I want you to leave today knowing this. Your kidneys are worth protecting, and it is never too late to start. I'm Dr. Brian. Like, share, and subscribe for more health and hope.